Go ahead, you start. I'll do the instructions.
All right, good Friday morning, everybody. We good now? All right, perfect. Good Friday morning, everybody. My name is John Harden. I'm with the safety department here at Prime. This is Dave White, also with the safety department. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, John. We're glad we have you this morning. I thought you'd be over there at the PGA Championship this week.
I did not make the cut this week.
Oh, I thought, okay. Well, at least you tried.
Real close for sure. So, but good morning. It's Friday, May 17th, 2024. We'd like to welcome everybody here in Springfield, Salt Lake City, Pittston, or if you're out there listening on the social media outlets, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and our YouTube channel. So if you're not able to listen this morning, hopefully you get parked later whenever it's safe to do so and check out the meeting and hope you find some substance and value to what we've got this morning. So we've got a good lineup. But first, as we always do, let's show our appreciation to John and his staff here in Springfield and the other facilities for the free breakfast that we're having this morning. Let's give them a round of applause. So let's hop right in. Let's go out east to Pittston. I believe we've got Rick Gifford out there. Good morning, Rick.
Woo, hey, good morning. How y'all doing down there?
We're doing great. How are you?
Fantastic. You know, I had a great class this week and a great crowd, and everybody's just loving being here.
Outstanding. Well, what do you have for us over there on the East Coast this week?
Hey, great weather so far. You know, a little rain, but not too bad. You know, sun shining a little bit. It's going to be a nice weekend. Maybe go golfing on Sunday.
Well, there you go. Well, you know, I kind of stole your thunder earlier this week on Wednesday. So we're going to kind of skip around, and we usually talk about this after the inspections. But anything going on around the country you want to talk about?
Yeah, we got some CSA inspections that are going on, and I think we got inspection week coming up here in about a month or so, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right, Dave?
Well, it's kind of going on right now. We got the CSA going on from May 14th through today, the 16th. So, but yeah, there'll be another blitz coming up. I think it is next month. We have another one too, Rick. So let's get through one at a time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yes, sir. Let's get through one at a time. You know, some other things we got to talk about here as far as, yeah, you stole my thunder the other day, talking about, you know, being summertime and schools letting out. We just got to be extra cautious when we're dealing with traffic, and you know, and be patient, and you know, be that professional driver that we are, and you know, let that driver in, and it's the seconds that it's going to save you as far as not letting them in versus letting them in. Just let them in. It's going to save you from being in an accident.
I agree, absolutely. So yeah, a lot of graduations going on around here, I know, and all across the country. So we're going to have some teenage inexperienced drivers out there on the road with nothing to do during the day but drive around, so causing mayhem. So be on the lookout for them. So we appreciate it, Rick. Any comments, questions, concerns today? Please get a microphone in front of whoever has a question, and we'll be happy to answer it.
Hey, thanks for having us.
All right. Well, let's go out west this morning to Salt Lake City. I believe we have Michael Hunter and maybe John Greenlee out there. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Sorry, Michael kind of had to go do something real quick, so it's just me for right now. But how are you guys this morning?
Hey, we're doing great, and welcome to the meeting out there. So how's everything in Salt Lake City?
It's great. I think we've got Pittston beat on the weather, though. It's a nice 60 degrees out this morning. It's supposed to be beautiful with just a few clouds.
Well, that's great weather. Did not hear any mention of snow, so that's always a bonus out there. Hopefully we're through that. Hopefully we're going to get into some smoother sailing coming up here.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think any snow for a while, but supposedly the winds died down as well, so we shouldn't have any wind issues.
Hey, John, tell us a little bit about yourself. You come from a unique background here at Prime, and go ahead and tell us, how'd you get here to Prime? What'd you do, and how'd you work into that fleet manager position that you're in today?
Well, let's see. I started here in about 1999. Started out as a driver. I was a trainer for about 13 years. Then one of these guys there invited me to come in-house. Hopefully not regretted at this point in time, but had to start over and learn, the computer programming and learn how to be a dispatcher. I now run a fleet of about 86, 87 trucks and enjoy everything I do here.
Well, we're glad we got you, man. Thank you. And you do a great job out there. I enjoy talking to you, and you have a good perspective on safety and everything else as well. So thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks, guys.
All right, well, we're going to bring it back here to Springfield, Missouri. So good morning, everybody. There we go.
Man.
We always know where D's at, right?
Yeah, we always know where D's at. Exactly.
All right, so good morning again. I'm John Harden. We've got some yellow vests sitting out here. So if you got some yellow vests in Pittston or Salt Lake, if this is your first week at Prime, and you don't have to be wearing a yellow vest to stand up right now. This is your first week at Prime, whether you're a D seat, a B seat, A seat, however you're coming into us, welcome to the family. Go ahead and stand up. Let's let everybody give you a round of applause. All right, that's outstanding. So welcome. A little bit about Prime that we like to be pretty transparent about. We're a very transparent company. So if you've been anywhere else or talked to anybody else in the industry, that's not always the case. That's not always what we hear when folks come in here. So these cards will get you into any part of the building. We strongly encourage you to come in, build a relationship with your fleet manager, build a relationship with your road assist advisor, your log advisor. You're going to work with a number of folks to make your business successful here at Prime. And those folks are key to helping you do that. We've got a lot of knowledge and experience here in the building. So it's there for you to use free of charge. So please take advantage of that. Anything you want to add to that, Dave?
No, I just want to say welcome to all of our new folks. And, we've got a unique perspective. We got a number of different fleet managers. And I'm going to say this, we got the best fleet managers in the business. There's no doubt. Guys like John, that's why I asked him to explain himself. He came in as a driver. And, usually they come in and they got to work a couple years at nights before they can ever get to a daytime position. And it's still true today. It's not easy, and not everybody makes it to a daytime position as a fleet manager. We got many night people that are full-time nights, and they're fine with that. And, it's a tough job. And so when you get your fleet manager, get to know him or her. Make sure, you got their phone number and ask questions. That's the biggest thing here at Prime. If you don't know, ask questions. That's what we want you to do. And having that relationship with your fleet manager and with your log person and with your road assist associate and even safety, hey, we don't bite. We want you to be successful out there. We want you to be safe, and we want you to be profitable at the end of the day. We're all here for a job. I don't think any of us are here to make friends, so to speak, even though we will make friends because, we are a good big family here at Prime, and we like to do fun things together. But at the end, we're here about making some money and being safe out there. And those two things go together. There's no doubt. So we want you safe and we want you profitable as well. So, but thank you for coming. Thank you for taking a chance with us. I know some of you may have left other forms of employment thinking you weren't happy and being a truck driver. It's not an easy job, though. I'll be honest with you. It's pretty tough. You're away from home for long periods of time, but you get to see the country. You get to learn different aspects of this business. You'll find out real quick. America doesn't move without trucks, and that's so vital. We need trucking. We need people hauling freight, flatbed freight, building materials, all the way through refrigerated to the tanker side, the intermodal side. You name it, that's how this nation works, is on trucking. And many times you can see when the economy is going down a little bit, it's getting really tough. Usually trucking is getting a little tough too. So, that all works together. So, but thank you for what you do. Thank you for coming here and starting out with a great company. And hopefully you're here for many, many years. We love to see you all stay around and get to know each other and get to know us. And that's what this is about, one big family. So.
All right, well, why don't you just keep rolling right into the inspections that you looked at this week?
All right, yeah, this week I got to do the inspections again. So we had 134 total inspections. 90 of those were clean, so a 67% clean rate on our inspections. So great job. Give yourselves a round of applause. That's a good number. Every year we have enforcement come in, speak at one of our Friday morning meetings. And by the way, I need to get that scheduled for this year again. But that being said, they say average is usually around 35–40% for clean inspections on carriers. And this week we're at 67, and we continually stay above 60% and many times over 70%. So that's what we want, you all making money off these clean inspections. But a couple of things that we need to bring to your attention is our CSA scores, and that's where this all leads, is the CSA scores, and that affects you as a driver and us as a company. So I'm going to ask Brianne and Richard if they could pull up our CSA scores for last month. This will be April's scores. And you can see here the red means we're not doing very good. We need help. And you can see the first one there, unsafe driving, we're at 74%. We need to get that down below 60%. And we'll get back into the green levels. And that's what we want to do. We want to get in the green level. Same thing with hours of service where it's 74. I'm not going to go through each one of these, but here's kind of the way the CSA scores work. We got a lot of questions this week based off of our announcement last week going to cameras. And a number of those questions are about, well, what is CSA scores? How they work? Well, when you get a roadside inspection, that state takes the inspection and sends it into the federal government. They have a depository for all inspections, and it's based on our DOT number. And they place that inspection in there, and it can hit one of 6 basics up there that you're seeing. So if you have a violation in hours of service, that violation will go in there. If it's unsafe driving, so it's the seat belts, speeding, anything like that, cell phone use, they can go into unsafe driving. If it's a maintenance violation, lights out, it'll go underneath our maintenance score. And you can see it just breaks down through all the 6 different basics. The last one there is our crash score. That's based off of DOT recordable accidents. So if we have an accident where somebody was towed or somebody was transported due to an injury or there's a fatality involved, that's where that crash hits in that basic score there. And that's a little bit separate than the inspection. It doesn't necessarily have to be an inspection, just a DOT recordable accident. That's notated on the accident report police fill out. So, and that's basically how it goes. In the drivers, you also have a CSA score too. After you get your CDL and you start running out here, and if you get an inspection, you'll start having a CSA score. If you don't have any inspections yet, and there's a number of drivers I meet here, they'll stop by my desk and I say, hey, they go, let me see my CSA score. I'll pull it up and there's 0. And I go, have you had an inspection? They said, no, we've never had one. Well, then you don't have a CSA score unless you have a crash. So that's kind of how that works in a nutshell. So, last week, Johnny, we discussed, Dennis brought out and had a little round table up here with our camera system. One of the areas we really want to attack is unsafe driving. And we'll bring those up. Maybe next week I'll get some numbers and you can see where we need to attack that and, get those down. But that was part of the reason why we're going to a camera system. Obviously, accidents is another part too. We want to reduce those accidents. But, we're taking right now, if you haven't seen the video on our from last week, make sure you watch that. You can go to YouTube, you can go to our Prime app page, portal, what's it called? Prime mobile app, right?
There you go.
Yeah. So anyway, you can watch the video there. Make sure you look at it. Make sure you understand. If you have questions afterwards, call us, because we've been getting a number of questions, and that's fine. That's what we're here for in safety. Questions on why we're doing it, what we're doing. Well, last week that explained a lot of it, but I understand sometimes there's more questions that you have. Hey, ask us, give us a holler, let us know, and we'll be more than happy to answer. But the number of driver I'd talked to didn't even know there's a video out there. So make sure you get that video, you look at it, you understand. Eventually, we're going to be going fleet wide with our cameras. Not coming up real quick here, but I think Dennis said last week, the first 300 or so, we're going to pause at 300, and then we're going to see how the system's working and all that. And so we're not going to jump in head first, all trucks at it right at once. No, we're going to take our time and make sure everything's working right, make sure the system's working as we want it to. So, and ultimately it's to protect all of us, that camera is. So you want to add anything, Johnny?
No, whenever we look at those CSA scores and you see unsafe driving, kind of the first thing that comes to mind is, unsafe driving, going down the road, running into folks. That's not the case necessarily. CSA is really more about compliance. If you looked at our accident data over the past 5 years, which we have, we've compiled that, and 75% of our accidents are parking lot, customer, fuel stop type accidents. So low speed, congested areas, things like that. Typically the beginning end of shift type situations, we just want to make sure as far as that's concerned, we remain focused until the truck's been parked and we're logged off duty and we're done with our day, not when we pull into the customer and say, I'm finally here, I can let my guard down, because that's whenever the majority of time we have those little fender benders. So But if anybody has any questions, the unsafe driving, a couple of the big ones that we have on there, seatbelt, speeding, bypassing scales, stop signs, stop lights, that sort of thing. So, but if anybody has questions, please come up, talk to us after the meeting, and we'll be happy to answer them.
All right. So no questions out here that I see at this time. So I tell you what, should we move on, John? What do we got for our first speaker here?
We've got a pretty special speaker to start us off this morning. So we're going to bring Brennan up here from our log department, but she's going to bring Susan with her, I believe. Susan looked at me like maybe not, but this is Susan's last Friday morning safety meeting with us. So good morning.
Good morning. All right. So speaking of inspections, I do want to cover our logging issues for the last week. All but one of the log inspections we received also had other issues tagged onto that inspection. So what I would encourage all of you to do is make good choices, be smart, wear your seatbelt, keep your dash clean. Don't give DOT a reason to pull you into an inspection in the first place. Second piece of advice I have for you is make sure to do that full-on vehicle inspection. All right, catch those mechanical issues before you get on the road. You are required to show one on-duty vehicle inspection per shift, whether that's the pre or post, it's up to you, and you need to show an adequate amount of time for this. So whether that's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or more, make sure that you're thorough and you're catching those issues. Susan, did you want to add anything onto that? No? All right. So today is a very special day. Today is Susan's last day here at Prime. So I would encourage all of you to swing by the log department over in the Plaza building, say hey.
We're not going to let her off that easy. So how many years you been here, Susan?
22.
22 years. Who hired you?
Steve Field.
Steve Field. I think he made a great hire with you. I know that. I know Steve retired a couple years ago, and he told me, he goes, Susan cannot retire before I retire.
The deal was we were supposed to retire together.
But you're nice enough to stay around just a couple more years for us.
My husband wouldn't let me.
Is it because he likes golf?
It is because he likes golf.
That's good. So you are going to be missed. I think of you, I think of 3513. And I go, and I was thinking about that this morning. I'm like, man, I won't be able to call that number anymore. 35. There's going to be somebody else answering, not you. Because Susan, we depend upon her so much for logs and hours of service. And we have, earlier this year, we made, Dennis said, hey, we're going to have a little transition. We're going to need somebody taking over. So Brennan's going to fill in those shoes. So you will be getting a lot of calls from me, Brennan, and the safety department with questions. But, it's great with Susan. She has her thorough knowledge of the hours of service and helping us out and helping drivers and being here all the time. Very much appreciated. So we thank you for your service. What are you going to do now?
Well, we have some travel planned. We have some landscaping projects in our backyard that we're going to tackle. And whatever else life leads us to.
Poor John, huh? You going to put him to work?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you for your service. Let's everybody give Susan a big round of applause. Yes. Thank you. We're going to miss you. Thank you very much, Brennan.
Thanks.
Hold on one second, Susan. I don't think you're getting off. Okay, Robert's coming over.
All right, she will definitely be missed, and her wealth of knowledge is great to call upon because you're going to get an answer, you're going to get it quickly, it's going to be right every time. So that'll be greatly missed.
100%. I know. I've talked with Brennan a few times, and she's just as good so far. I mean, she's answered my stuff and helped us out. So, but yeah, big role to fill, and we're gonna hate losing her, but that's what it is, man. She's worked her way up, and this is what about retirement is, man. Get out while you can, while you got your health, and enjoy yourself because you worked all these years, and hopefully one of these days, Johnny, you and I will get there.
Hopefully.
There we go. So what do you got next, buddy?
All right, we're gonna bring up Colby and Rachel from our driver health and fitness department. Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you? Hey, everybody. Good morning. So it's Colby, driver health and fitness. This is Rachel, our on-site dietitian.
Good morning.
So this week, we try to give you every week a new health tip and stuff. Rachel's got one for you this morning. What is it, Rachel?
So the health tip is just eat your protein. So trying to get your protein up throughout the day. It is super, super helpful for all kinds of things, including just overall health, but also if you're trying to have weight loss, it's very, very helpful. Protein is like the most satiating macro that there is.
So what does that mean?
Satiating. It keeps you satisfied for hours after eating it.
Okay.
The big thing that I notice with talking with drivers is that you commonly don't get enough protein spread throughout your day. So my tip for this morning is get your protein, but try to get it more frequently throughout your day. You're gonna have a lot of detrimental effects happen if you just get the majority of your protein at one time a day. Like let's say you end your day with a meal that has a protein source in it. That is not helpful for overall health. You want to get it spread throughout your day.
So I got a question then. We have some things and thoughts about protein, right? So let's say the idea is like, if I'm a female, I don't want to gain muscle. I don't want to eat protein. Yes?
So yeah, if you're a female and you don't want to get like big, that's not going to happen. Protein is needed for so many other things than just muscle. And you just don't have enough testosterone as a female to gain enough muscle to get big.
Okay, so I want to lose weight. Let's say I want to lose weight. So you know what? I'm just going to cut out protein because I want to lose weight.
Yeah, that is definitely going to backfire. So if you're trying to lose weight, you do not want to cut out protein. You want to actually increase protein, and it's going to help you on those goals. If you cut out protein, you're not going to be able to support all of your tissues and all of your muscle tissue. So your body will actually start to cannibalize muscle tissue, which is not good. It's going to slow down your metabolism.
Great. I think Jamie's got a question.
I do. How much protein is enough protein?
So if you want to come talk to me to get your specific recommendations, please come do that because it does vary person to person. But what I generally do is for an adult female, you probably need at least 80 grams a day, probably closer to 100. For an adult male, it's at least 100, probably closer to 120. But like I said, it is individualized. So we go off of your ideal body weight and we use kind of a gram to kilogram ratio.
Awesome. Yeah. Somebody got a question? Yeah.
What are some good protein example meals that you would recommend for breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
I love it.
Yeah.
So good protein. What are some
Awesome.
good protein meals?
Awesome question. Okay. So like breakfast starting out, one thing that I'd like with that's most people like it is doing like eggs for breakfast. Any form of egg is going to be great. If you're not an egg person, so another option that you could do is like protein waffles or protein pancakes, or even like overnight oats. That's a super easy option. And those all use protein powder as like the big protein source in there, which is great for drivers because it's all shelf stable ingredients. And then the overnight oats don't require any cooking. So that's something I'd recommend for breakfast. Lunchtime, ton of easy stuff there too. You can do something as simple as like a tuna or a salmon packet or even canned chicken, throw it in a wrap, throw some veggies on there if you've got it. If not, that's okay. And then for dinner, something for a protein source could be like, let's say just as a freezer meal, you could do like chicken sausage and then a pack of quinoa or pre-cooked rice. That's a super easy, like very minimal cooking option. And then if you want more cooking ideas, I have a ton of recipe on the Driver Health and Fitness website.
Yep. Great. So then that's a question I was just thinking about. What? Somebody's got a question? Yeah. Do you have a question? Here, I'll bring my microphone. Hey.
Okay, I know we're talking about protein, but what food would you recommend for women to help with pH balance?
pH balance.
Good question. You want to think on that for a second? So I was going to think of something else too, is ideas while you think about that, is different types of proteins, like you think about meats and stuff like that, right? But like, let's say vegetarians or vegans, there's different things we could do on top of that, right? So you can do like lentils, beans, things like that would be a good one. You said quinoa is another one good for having
Quinoa's a
seed
great
that has
one.
high protein.
Soy
So-
is a good one, soy milk. Pumpkin seeds are super great.
Okay. Awesome. So we said, so to give you a chance to think. She put you on the
So
spot.
yeah, Dee, what I would recommend for that, like kind of just thinking about overall inflammation levels. So like thinking about ways to support your gut microbiome, it regulates pretty much everything going on in your body, including, like the inflammation levels, kind of how you're feeling throughout the day. And then that kind of ties in with the pH balance. Your body's really good at keeping its own pH balance. Food isn't going to affect it that much. So, but yeah, I would recommend like just trying to feel better overall is work on your gut microbiome. So work on getting into fermented food. We've talked before about kombucha. We've talked before about yogurt, and then trying to get as many colors as possible. So colors are so powerful, even if it's just something as simple as baby carrots, getting some orange in, or let's say you run across a truck stop with like the melons or the grapes, for example. You've got 2 different colors right there. Yeah, just trying to get as many colors as possible.
That's a good one. Awesome. Appreciate that. Anybody else got any questions or anything? Okay.
Thank you, guys. If you have any questions, just come talk to me.
Thank you.
Do you get your colors? Do you eat your colors?
I do.
You know, that was something I didn't even think about. Colors of food, you know, grapes,
You
Skittles
know,
don't count. How about M&Ms?
oh,
Okay, dang it.
I didn't catch on to what she said about muscle and cannibalism, but I think I eat a lot of that stuff. So, you know,
Oh, boy. Okay. let's
well, I
move on.
mean, you know what I meant by that.
I know what
so.
you mean, but yeah, let's roll.
All right, let's go on to our next speaker here. We're going to bring up Doug Tam, and our maintenance department is going to bring up Trent Ferris here.
All right, good morning, guys.
Good morning. How's everybody doing this morning? Man, we got a lot of energy out there. You doing good? All right. I'm Doug Tam. I sit in Bay 14 of the plaza typically. I work in the road assist department, the tires, and the plaza. So whatever I can do to help you guys out. We hear this is Trent Ferris. He's our pro maintenance director of pro maintenance, right?
That's what they tell me, yeah.
I've promoted him several times, and I think it sounds really, really cool. This morning, we're going to talk about some changes for our tractor shop. We're going to be moving our assessment bay around. I'm sure a lot of people have noticed that back behind the tractor shop, we get a lot of traffic back there, and it restricts our technicians from being able to pull the truck in and get to work. So we're going to move our assessment bay over. Our new assessment bay is going to be 53. Okay, so it's going to be on the opposite side of the tractor shop where we were pulling up behind it. So you'll follow it around to the tire bays in 38, 39. Tractor office is in bay 47. So right there, as you can see on the overhead, we have lanes A and B. So lanes A and B, there's going to be 2 different lanes for you. So B lane will be just a technical question. Maybe you're new in a truck and you don't know how to work the tri-pack, something like that. We'll answer those questions for you to get your process through quickly. And then lane A will be any truck that has an appointment time to go into the tractor shop so we can assess it properly. But right here you can see, and we'll have some jersey barriers put up so that way we can avoid that obstacle there in the middle. I know Dave White pointed that one out, but right there, that'll be out of the line of traffic and out of the way for us. So that'll be a home run for you guys. Be able to process it a little quicker. If we start getting backed up, it'll be right there in plain sight, and we can start, get another technician in there if we need to. So that's going to be a home run for you guys. And we're also going to talk about pre-trip and post-trip inspections. We have seen an increase in some tire damages over the road. Tire damages are listed as incidents, and you are billed, $500 deductible on that trailer. So make sure you're doing everything you can to get a good inspection on those tires. Check for the curbs. Any sidewall damage, big chunks, cracks. We're not going to bill a deductible if you run over a nail or a bolt or something like that. But if you run into a curb and damage the equipment, obviously you're going to be responsible for that. So make sure you do a good pre-trip and post-trip inspection. Make sure you report those incidents. That way we can get the tire replaced and you're not broken down on the side of the road, which would be way worse than paying a deductible. So make sure you report those issues to us so we can get them cleared up. I know Dave White, he always loves it when I talk about how to properly hit a curb, because we don't hit curbs, right? Sometimes we're in a tight area and there is a technique. If you misjudge the corner or it's really tight, you want to pull up on a curb slow, because if you run into the curb, you're going to have blunt force trauma to that casing and that tire, and it can split on the inside, right? So you got a lot of weight on those tires. So you want to creep up on the curb very slowly, get up on it, and then pull off of it faster, because if you let the tire just slide down that curb or that obstacle, whatever you're on, it'll want to rip that tread off of that tire. So make sure you go up the curb very slow, off the curb quick. So, avoid those curbs. I know there's times where you get into a bind or it's just too tight. So there's a technique so you don't tear up the tires as well. So that may help you. Trent, you want to touch on anything?
Yeah, I'll just say, you also may see some damage even going slowly. So we want to avoid that curb at all costs if possible. But, backing up what he said on the reefer inspections, I get up here pretty regular now and talk about our class, our pro maintenance class, which we hold every day at 1 p.m. over at the Campus Inn in Springfield, Monday through Friday. And we have it at Thursdays in Pittston now. But today I really wanted to get up and plug something different. We're working on a video that we're going to be releasing for the reefer inspection process to walk around the trailer and look at all the things you need to be checking on that unit. But I've got a lot of videos on YouTube now, and I want to expose that as a resource to all of you. If you didn't know, go to our corporate YouTube channel, just Prime Inc., punch in Prime Inc. on YouTube, and you'll find the channel. It's easy. There's a bunch of videos on there, about 600 videos. So to go to the maintenance videos, which is what I'm talking about right now, what I do, you're going to go to a playlist. It's maintenance video playlist in there. So just find that playlist. There's about 40 videos in there. We go over pretty much everything I talk about in my class every day on that channel, and there's a lot more up there uploaded that we don't have time to go over in 2 hours in my class. So check that out. It's a really good resource for you all. That's all I got.
What are some of the topics of videos? What kind of videos are you making?
I'd say the two biggest views that we have are going to be that reefer inspection video and the parking brakes and moving your tandem. So I'll talk about that for a second right now. When you're having a hard time moving your tandems because your parking brakes aren't holding that trailer really tight, that doesn't necessarily mean that we have a brake issue. In fact, we probably don't have a problem. And I've got a video on our channel that's going to walk you through those steps and kind of talk about how you can solve this issue and get your tandems moved out there. So that's a good example.
Fantastic. Let's get Trent and Oscar by watching these videos, and get them on top of the billboard or however we rate these movies and these short videos. It's very important. We're going to be opening up a pro maintenance class in Salt Lake City as well. That might be a couple months out, but we want to be able to give that to you guys no matter what terminal you're at and educate you so you don't run into any trouble. One thing we did change beginning of January, we do require all of our vendors to send us before and after pictures, specifically on the reefers and any trailer repair. But make sure you're asking for pictures, especially for any tractor repair, trailer repair. That way we can help assist, later on down the road. Always ask for an invoice and try to get as much information as you can from outside shops before you walk away. So just some tips there, but we are recommending get before and after pictures of every repair you can get done. So it can help us argue some bills on the back end as well. So that's really all I have today. Anybody have any questions for me? Me or Trent?
Guys, I'd like to add something if that's okay. Hey, just kind of a quick reminder from a driver's point of view, if you guys had a lot of questions lately from my drivers that have been charged for, the $500 deductible for trailers. If you guys would, when you're doing your inspection, please take the time to roll that trailer forward. So that way the bottom of the tire that was there when you were doing your inspection is now on the top. So that way you can inspect all the tire around. And if you do see damage, get some pictures and remember to fill out that pickup and drop trailer inspection report.
Yeah, that's great information. We see a lot of brake skids here on our tractors at each of our yards as well. Anytime after it rains, it can flash rust, and those pads will want to stick to the drum. So always put in idle, and put it in drive, and it should pull by itself. If it's not, you might have a brake hung up. So that can definitely get pretty costly pretty quick.
Good trick to make sure all your wheels are free and not locked up. And my students is if you're on a slight incline, push the brakes in and the truck should be able to roll slightly by itself. That way, if you're dark or in the yard, you can't see the tires roll or nothing like that. If that truck rolls a little bit, all your tires are free.
That's a great point. And something else you can do is put the tractor in gear. Release your brakes, put your truck in gear, start moving a little bit, then throw it back in neutral, and you should still be moving. If the truck stops on its own, then you've got a hung up brake somewhere.
All right. Thank you. That's all we got. We appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Thank you, guys. Doug mentioned our vendors here, so we'd like to take this time, if you're here in the Springfield terminal, if all our vendors could stand up, they're back here in this back corner. We certainly appreciate all your support, knowledge, and help that you bring to the table here. So if anybody has any questions for them, they're here after the meeting to talk to.
And John, that truly separates our company from many other companies, is that we got vendors that actually work with us and they're here for our drivers. They're here for you guys, you know, so you have a problem with your truck or your trailer, somebody we could talk to, we can get involved and sometimes get you through the shop a little bit quicker. They can make those phone calls, make things happen behind the scenes. So we're truly blessed to have them, and they do a great job for us. So what do you got next, brother?
All right, next.
I'm supposed to introduce this one, am I?
It's all right.
That's okay. I like old Sam. So from our accounting department, we have our fueling expert, Sam Messick, and this morning he has a vendor with him, 7 Fleet. Is that correct, Sam? All right, come on up.
Well, Dave teed that up beautifully because my first question was going to be, who in the room knows what 7 Fleet is? Anybody? I don't know if that person back there is pointing. Oh, Bailey doesn't count. She's on the in-house side and she works with me, so she's cheating. But
Bailey counts.
yeah, but no. But so 7 Fleet, right? These folks are actually pretty big partners of ours and growing partners. So we'll kind of explain a little bit about what they do and how they partner with us. But first of all, Jacob and Lisa, would you like to maybe introduce yourselves, just let us know what you do at 7 Fleet, and then we'll let everybody know what 7 Fleet is exactly.
Yeah. So good morning, everybody. Thank you for having us. So my name's Jacob. I've been with 7-Eleven 12 years now, and I handle all the partnerships for our network. So appreciate you guys having us and taking the time to hear us speak.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Lisa Feltz. I have been with 7-Eleven 25 years. I started when I was 5, just in case you're wondering. And I really appreciate all your safe driving out there. Obviously, I'm out on the road too. You guys have a great job, really hard one. We thank you for that.
So as they alluded to, so the 7 Fleet network is the commercial diesel network for the 7-Eleven, Speedway, and now Stripes as well, brands. So 7 Fleet, we recently, just within the last, what, Jacob, probably 12, 18 months, 18, probably 24 months now, started bringing some of their locations into the Prime discounted network on the asset side of our business. They also partner with us on our Prime Advantage Plus brokerage program. But most of you know the Speedway brand, right? It's been out there for a while. All of you, I'm sure, know the 7-Eleven brand. And then, Jacob, you all recently acquired Stripes as well, right? Within the last...
Yep. So 2018, we purchased a big chunk of the Stripes, and then recently we just closed on the remainder of the Stripes. So now we own all Stripes locations.
So how many locations in total fall under the 7 Fleet umbrella? Not just what's in the Prime network, but just in total, how many locations do you all have?
Yeah. So today we're actively marketing and discounting around 380 sites with more locations to come.
So these folks they're a big part of the commercial diesel industry. I think today we have about 90 of their locations in our network. So, you know, folks, those would be the locations that we're going to optimize you to on a daily basis, right? They have more locations. We're evaluating potentially bringing some more of those locations on board. But, you know, I think I told them just yesterday we were meeting, and I said 2 years ago I had no clue what the 7 Fleet group was. So they are becoming a bigger and bigger part of what we do every day. They're really great partners. They do a really good job of, they're creative thinkers like we try to be, and really do some out of the box things with us. So one of the things that we had asked them to do as kind of a growing partner in our network was help us out on some additional discounting and things. So Jacob, do you maybe just want to touch on one of the things that's big for our operators is DEF discounting, and you all recently just rolled out a DEF discount deal with us. You maybe want to touch on how much that is per gallon, and that's available at all of your locations, right? That DEF discount, and it is how much per gallon?
So it's $1 per gallon at all of our locations. And then we're also doing some dynamic DEF discounts at select locations where it's even better. And we're also doing dynamic pricing. So we're being aggressive, trying to add as much value to you guys in Prime as possible, and hoping to continue to add sites in there to continue to add that value.
And it's, just so everybody understands what dynamic pricing is, it's really these folks passing along some of their margin to you, right? So in a really good market where they're making a lot of money, a lot of the other fuel vendors will, you know, just take that extra margin. It's theirs to keep, right? But folks like the 7 Fleet group, they're really trying to get aggressive and earning some of our business. So they're, when margins are even better than expected, right, passing along some of that additional buying power and buying advantage, I should say, to us. and to you all as the operators. So they're giving us $1 a gallon off on DEF. As you know, that's a really strong, really nice discount. They also have a really good rewards program. And after the meeting, actually, so they were kind enough to bring some goodies for everybody. So we've got some socks. We've got some 7-Eleven Slurpee socks, Big Gulp socks, back in the back there, back by Devin. I don't know, Devin, if you want to raise your hand. Yeah. So for anybody here in Springfield, come by, grab some socks. We've got some actual rewards cards as well. So if you don't have a rewards program set up with the 7 Fleet folks, make sure you come see us and grab one of their rewards cards. They have a really robust program. And then we also have some coupons for taquitos, Big Gulps, Slurpees, anything you want. We've got some coupons back there as well for them to hand out. But I just thank you very much for being willing to come down. If you don't mind, we'll take just a question or two in case anybody has a question. Any questions for us while we have the 7 Fleet folks here? One back here, maybe? No?
I just have one question for you guys, okay? Because I'm a truck driver like everyone else. And are your sites truck friendly?
So the majority, the locations that we're going to add to our network are only going to be the ones that are truck friendly, right? As far as they have commercial diesel lanes that are capable of handling the kind of volume, right, and equipment that we can put through that facility. And ideally, they have all the amenities, right, that you're used to, maybe minus 1 or 2, but we only, and that was kind of the whole heart of our conversation yesterday, was how do we get some of their locations into our network that meet our needs? Because, I mean, these are your homes away from home. So we're not just going to bring on a location that doesn't meet the prime standard.
Yeah, and kind of just expanding on Sam's point. So obviously 7-Eleven, Speedway, Stripes, we have 13,000 stores in US, Canada, 8,000 with fuel. But the 7 Fleet Diesel network is just our sites with high flow diesel lanes built with drivers in mind for drivers, right? So you'll be able to get a 53-foot tractor trailer in and out. The over-the-road cards are accepted. Accessibility is good, those kinds of things. That's vetted before a site goes into the network.
Any other questions?
Is there overnight parking for trucks?
Yes.
Showers?
So overnight parking, yes, vast majority of our locations will have parking, and it's free parking. We don't charge for parking. And then showers, a handful of our locations do have showers, but a vast majority of them don't.
And those are some of the considerations that we take into account, right, when bringing them into our network or not. We want to make sure that the stops that we're sending you to have good amenities.
Do y'all have an app that caters to the diesel side of this?
Yeah, great question.
So can I take this one real fast? Our preference would be that you use the Prime mobile app, right? Because those are our in-network locations.
Well, I'm saying for the amenities that they have at them, we know that it'll be a fuel stop for us, but the app for the rewards and all of that, to know if there's actually showers.
So all of that information is in our app today. So we have whether or not it has showers. I mean, there's, I guess, 25 to 30 different amenities that we have listed in our app, whether it has bulk DEF, et cetera, a 24-hour cafe. So yes, you should be able to find all that info in our app. And the only reason why I point you there is those are the locations that are in our network. And we were talking about this yesterday too. We really try to make sure that that data is perfect, right? That it's totally up to date, that the hours are correct and everything. We scrub that really in a really detailed manner. Looks like we got maybe one more question.
So the other question is, I think it might go with the app question. Do you guys actually have a pay through the app option, or is this a walk in to the facility and pay?
So you can pay at the dispenser. So you can't pay through the app today, but that is one of the technology updates that we are making long-term in the future. But all of our locations, you can pay at the dispenser.
Okay, so with your app, or you don't have it where like Pilot and Plan J, we can see how many rewards points we have so we know what we're keeping track of instead of having to look at a receipt, go back, find a receipt for y'all?
So we do through the Speedy Rewards platform. So we do have that. So that's one of the loyalty cards over there that you can grab, and that will be live at all of our Speedway sites. but we are working on one of the technology updates is loyalty at all of our locations, and that will be coming in the near future. And that's where you'll be able to use it at all sites.
Well, thank you all very much for letting us steal some of your time. We just, like I said, we really wanted to introduce these folks to you. They're a growing partner of ours, and they're really great to work with. So hopefully just let you get to know them a little bit more, a little bit about what they're all about and where they're going. So yeah, thank you very much, Jacob and Lisa, for coming down. And make sure you come by and see us for some freebies afterwards and say hello to these folks. I know they would really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I noticed Sam was smiling a little bit more up here. I think it's because his team won last night. Vancouver pulled one off over Edmonton, so he's got to be smiling over that. So,
Is that baseball?
yeah, that's baseball. Yeah.
Good.
So, hey, you ever heard of a big gulp, Johnny?
I have.
Okay, I didn't know if they had 7-Elevens down here or not, but I know,
They
yeah,
did.
big
They
gulp,
did.
baby. That's right.
All right, we're going to bring up one of our fleet managers on the refrigerated side, Jared Young. Come on up here this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
So how long have you been a fleet manager here at Prime?
18 and a half years.
18 and a half years. You've been around here for a long time. So what have you got for this morning? It's going to talk about service?
Yeah, we are going to talk about service. And service is one of the biggest things we have here at Prime. Okay, it's the one thing we sell. And so when we talk about service, we need to understand what service is and who measures service. So I'm going to ask for a little bit of interaction. So can someone tell me who measures service, if it's on time or not? You don't count, Paul. No volunteers? Okay. Well, I'll tell you, it's going to be the customer who's paying the freight bill. That's who's going to measure your service. So it's on-time service. So it may not be necessarily that cold storage that you pick up from or the cold storage that you deliver to. That customer who's paying the freight bill is going to be who measures that service. And so we have to make sure that we're keying all of our actions and behaviors to providing that service, because everybody out there, whether they work in-house, whether they're on the road, we're all customer service providers. That's what we do here at Prime. Driving a truck, dispatching the loads, all those things are functions of providing that customer service. So we have to understand that. So if you're a customer paying for a service, what are you paying for? You're paying for what you want, right? So what are you asking for if you're a customer? You want it picked up on time, delivered on time, you want it taken care of while you have it. If there's an issue, you want that communication. If there's an issue, that's so that you know something's going on, right? And so if you're that person who's paying that bill, who's paying for that service, okay, you have certain expectations. And in trucking, what are those expectations going to be? Did our driver show up on time, right? Did they have a clean trailer? Was that chute connected from the front to the back, working in all the areas that it's supposed to work? Did you pre-trip it? When you got the bills of lading, did you run it at the right temperature to take care of that load? Was it blocked, braced, and secured? All those types of things, that's all part of service, okay? And then you delivered it on time. It's no different than if any of us, because I'll try to put this in a relatable manner. So everybody here is, I'm sure, gone to a restaurant, right? You go into a restaurant, you order your favorite meal. Maybe it's a big fat ribeye. You get that big fat ribeye, you're ready for it. Okay, if I'm the server, the customer service provider here at this restaurant, okay, well, how are you going to feel if you showed up and I sit you down at your table and the table's dirty and nasty? Maybe it's got drinks spilled all over it from the previous diner, right? How are you going to feel about that? Probably not too great. Well, that's how our customers are going to feel if we show up with a dirty trailer. We just sat them at a table to put their product on it. That's dirty. It's not clean, right? Well, what's going to happen and how are you going to feel at that restaurant if you order your steak and 30 minutes goes by, 45 minutes goes by, you haven't seen or heard from your waiter or waitress? That communication, right? Maybe there's a delay in the kitchen, something happened. You don't know. You're probably going to start to get a little frustrated. Well, that's that communication that a customer is going to expect from us, okay? Now, if I'm bringing you your steak at the end of the meal's ready, I'm coming to deliver it. I deliver that steak to you, but it's not really a steak because you went to a top-end steakhouse, but I brought you a paper plate with some microwave dino nuggets on it. Are you going to be happy? Well, that's picking up and delivering late. That's the equivalent. Because they paid for this level of service with the rates that we asked for. And if we deliver them those dino nuggets, they're not going to be happy. No different than you're not going to be happy in that same situation. And you have to think about customer service in a relatable manner to how you would feel in those same situations. And if we do that, if we show up with a clean trailer, with a table that's wiped down, right? And we deliver that steak the way the customer's paying for it to be delivered, they're going to be happy. If you have a bad experience at a restaurant, what is the likelihood that you're going to return? Probably not very high. Same thing with these, okay? When customers receive the service that they pay for, they get that clean trailer. Everything's a good working order. It's delivered on time. They get the communication, and we do everything we're supposed to do. They're going to pay those rates. They're going to give us that freight, right? But if we show up with a paper plate with some half-cooked dino nuggets, they're not going to be happy, okay? That's how we're going to protect freight in a tough environment. That's how we're going to protect your rates and your income and all those things is providing service. Service is the number one thing we have. And every one of us, from the top to the bottom, we're all customer service providers. And that's what we do. Everything else we do in between is a function of that job. We have to always keep that in mind.
Do you have any questions for Jared while we have him up here? Questions for the fleet manager at all? All right. Very good analogy. Appreciate it, Jared.
That was great. So our next speaker, we always honor our military veterans and all that. And this morning we have a special video. Mitch is going to come up here from our marketing department regarding the Vietnam Memorial. So good morning, Mitch.
Morning, everybody. Man, you got Dave's mic turned all the way up. This is great. Yeah, so as Dave mentioned, we had the opportunity Tuesday of this week to transport what's called the Wall That Heals. So what that is it's a replica of the Vietnam War Memorial up in Washington, D.C. Really incredible opportunity for us. This year, Amos Coates, who's a recent addition to our driver advisory board, a United States Army veteran himself, and also currently serves in the United States National Guard. So basically what happens with this memorial replica is we move it across the country, and it has the opportunity to stop in certain locations to allow folks in that area to go pay their respects to the veterans that served and made the ultimate sacrifice in a war that they came back and really weren't appreciated for, unfortunately. So it gives us that opportunity to help provide that to communities all across the country. For us, we handled the leg of it that was Lake of the Ozarks to Waynesville, Missouri here. And we have a video kind of showing what that participation looked like. While Brienne's getting that pulled up, we can go ahead and recognize, if you served in the United States Armed Forces in any form or fashion, please stand up. Let us recognize you and appreciate that. Thank you very much.
What you're about to do today, you're making history for your community. You are going to escort that wall. That wall contains the names of 58,281 service members that paid the ultimate sacrifice.
In my heart, I get a sense of pride that swells up because I know that I'm doing something and I'm showing honor.
It's almost like a way for me to give back. My grandfather was in Vietnam, so this actually means quite a bit to me to be able to escort this in here so they can get it set up for more veterans to come out and actually see this. It means the world.
They suffered really horribly when they came home, and some of them still have
PTSD and other issues that they've had to deal with throughout all of these years. But as an organization, we want to honor everyone that has served. And that's the reason why I'm glad to be a part of this.
I've been in 3 combat tours dating back to Desert Storm. I've been to Afghanistan twice. I'm a wounded warrior. So I just want people to know that prior to going to Afghanistan the first time, the battalion commander told us, look to your left, look to your right. It's a possibility that that person to your left and to your right won't be there. Well, in fact, the person to my left and to my right didn't come back. So it's important to me for people to know really the sacrifice that other people have made on their behalf. And that's really, it's not really not about me. It's about all of my brothers and sisters who wear this uniform.
All right, thank you, Mitch, very much, appreciate that. Just a reminder too, if you have questions on your Prime mobile app or anything on, the app itself, got Brian and Richard over here to my right, your left. Stop over after the meeting and see them, they'll help you out. What do you got next there, Johnny? We're coming down to the end.
We're coming down to the end, so we're going to bring up Mr. Jim Guthrie. Steve Wookie's not here this morning, so Jim, we're going to have you fill in for us this morning.
Okay, well, thanks, John. Good morning, everybody. I'm not as smooth as Steve for sure, but I got a couple things to share with you today. First off, I want to talk about claim prevention. Jared did a great job at kind of highlighting how service impacts our ability to get more freight. But another component of all that is preventing claims. And part of our initiative as it relates to preventing claims is to make sure every time you pick up a load that you scrutinize the bill of lading for temperatures, addresses, piece counts, and we ask you to circle and initial that bill of lading so that we have all the information right and the product that you pick up is delivered to the receiver in the same condition that it was when you picked it up. So very important is to follow those procedures to protect yourself from claims. In addition to that, I want to remind everybody that the receivers don't always tell you if they don't take all the product or if there's something wrong. So you've got to check your bills at the receiving locations. And in addition to that, it's critical to inspect the inside of the trailer and make sure all the product has been received. We've had some situations recently where product was left on the trailer, the reefer was turned off, and no one notified the driver about it until they get to the location to wash out their trailer or their next pickup location, and come to find out there's product in the trailer. So it's really important to always walk all the way to the front of the trailer, inspect it if it's dark with a flashlight before you finish that load. That's part of the completion process. So just want to remind everybody a few of these simple fundamentals of claim prevention that can make a big difference in earnings. It's no secret, obviously, that the market's been tough for a while. On the good news side, I would say that we're seeing some projections of these next couple of weeks that look to be, look like things are heating up, particularly in our team network. So, a couple of things. What I would say is, number one, these next 6 weeks running up to July 4th are really some of the best weeks of the year opportunity-wise for freight. So I would say, try to make yourself available as many days as possible, the whole time if possible, because again, we just don't know what the future brings. We know what the past has been, but we do expect that things are going to be a little bit hotter here these next several weeks. So make yourself available as many days as possible. And also, those of you that are teaming, thank you. Training, thank you. But if you're not and you're qualified, talk to your fleet manager. There's a lot of opportunity. Earnings are almost double on a weekly basis what a team earns lead seat versus a solo. We've got some obviously great new faces here, and we welcome all of our new drivers. Thank you all for giving us a shot. We appreciate that, but we're bringing in high quality individuals. It's a really great opportunity for those of you to give back and to team. Plus, it helps your business, considerably, your earnings potential considerably. And the summertime, the produce, meat, all these different commodities that we handle. Our team network is more. There's more opportunity in our team network in the summertime. So I would encourage everybody to think about that if you aren't teaming already. So I just wanted to mention that it does look like things are getting a little bit better. We're seeing some projections again that look like we're going to see some freight volumes increasing. So a couple of those things, make yourself available and think about teaming if you're not doing that already. That's all I've got. I appreciate you all very much, and I'll bring up Robert to close us out.
Thanks, Jim.
Yep.
That was pretty smooth, Jim. I got to tell you, and I'm not sure it's quite as smooth as Wookie, but you're a lot more handsome and a lot smarter. So that, kind of evens things out right there. And good morning, folks. Good to see you new folks. Good to see you folks that have been here for a while. Appreciate your service. Business is improving. It's largely because, I'd say it's entirely because the service we provide our customers. The equipment, but your performance, your on-time performance, and the way you present yourselves at our shippers is outstanding, and our receivers is outstanding. And that's why we're getting more freight. It's been tough. It's been tough. It hadn't been for the weak, but we've survived this pretty doggone well, and it's just going to get better from here. So, again, and I thank you for what you do. You're all special people. Susan, we're going to miss you. You sure you don't want to stay? You retire next year. No, she's been fantastic. And she's an example of, a lot of the folks that we have here in-house. So we have some good ones. We have some great drivers. Thank you for what you do. God bless each of you, and please be safe.